Hey, good day everybody. This is Joe Van Cleve and this is not a vlog. Well, that's better. I don't like those yellow glasses I was wearing. They tend to have this funky thing where I can't focus at long distance. Anyways, hey, I'm down by the Rio Grande near the Alameda open space area, and it's a windy, blustery Sunday afternoon, but I'm going to kind of enjoy it down here, and we'll see what we can find. The fact that it's a pond doesn't necessarily make it a fascinating subject matter for anybody, except if you are a native of New Mexico and realize that there isn't that much water in this state. So the fact that you can have a pond like this in the middle of Albuquerque is actually kind of interesting. Well, this is an open space wetlands that the city helped build recently with some public money. So it's kind of cool having a little open space wetland in the city. A sluice gate for an acequia. Controlling water flow. These little dirt irrigation channels. Well, there's this little open space visitor center here by the wetlands, and of course kids and everybody do little art projects relating to that and different themes, but pretty cool little place. You know, every time there is a local election, I peruse the ballot, and certain things I definitely vote for. For instance, libraries and recreational spaces I tend to vote for, because those monies go to places like this, you know, that serve the public at large, and it's a pretty good deal, I think. Well, just to the west of the visitor center is this large building closer to the river, and this is where the city is injecting river water into the underground aquifer as a way to regenerate the aquifer, the water supply for Albuquerque. Back in the 1950s, Albuquerque's forefathers there had the vision to buy up millions of acre-feet of water rights from the San Juan River. And then there was a canal, a diversion project built a couple decades ago that connects the San Juan River to the Rio Grande so that Albuquerque can gain access to that water. Water rights is a big issue in the West. It goes back hundreds of years, of course. But this is a kind of a cool way that Albuquerque has managed to get more water. And they take this big building right here, and they built a low dam on the Rio Grande, more like a weir, and it builds up a wide area of water in the river that they can pump it from and then inject it into the underground water supply underneath the city. You know, I spend so much time indoors during my work week and at home doing various things. I really need to be more mindful of getting out into the open spaces, even if it's just these kind of what you might call artificially manufactured open spaces. I mean, it would certainly be better to go to the mountains and the river and all that, but just close by, just drive a couple miles down the street, come to a place like this, just to be in the open space, in the sunlight, and have a walk. That's always so regenerative. The other day during breakfast, my wife and I were talking about hamburgers, We got on that subject somehow, and we decided that hamburgers should be thin and crispy. They shouldn't be like fat pieces of meatloaf. They should be thin, crispy with a crisp edge. And if you want a bigger hamburger, you just put a couple patties together. But you don't want a meatloaf sandwich. I was thinking about my aunt who lives in Colorado Springs, and I talked to her on the phone last week. And she has this food dilemma. She lives by herself now. My uncle passed away a couple of years ago, and she has a lot of food in her freezers. She has like 5 years worth of food, she says. And she was born and raised in the Great Depression and was raised to not throw out any food. And it's really against her principles to waste food, but she'll eat out a couple days in the week just to meet up with friends. And she typically, because of her age, she can't finish one of those restaurant meals, so she brings home leftovers, and she ends up eating the leftovers throughout the week, and then she doesn't eat any of the frozen foods in her freezers. So she decided, well, let's call up a food bank and see if she can give away some of this food to some needy people. And the food bank people won't take the food because it's out of date. So now the latest thing is she's finding these animal shelters, and she's going to see if they can accept the donations of the frozen food that's 5 years old, which is really kind of interesting. But it also reminds me of, around our house, we occasionally have these fend for yourself nights for dinner when my wife decides to clean out the freezer and throw away the out-of-date stuff and clean it and everything. And pretty much, you're on your own now. Find whatever you want, make dinner. There's this problem I have with having frozen meats in the freezer, and that is you still need to plan ahead. I mean, you might think that because you have frozen food, you've planned ahead. But no, if you don't take the frozen meat out in the morning to defrost, then when dinner time comes around, you're like, oh no, I didn't take any food out to thaw out, so that means I guess I got to go out and get some, or go fast food, or go eat out. So there's that dilemma. You really still have to plan ahead. Well, it was kind of a fun afternoon. I didn't have any agenda. I just wanted to go out, take a walk, and just do anything. And that's kind of the fun of it. No pre-planning. And that's what it's like to have another This Is Not a Vlog. You guys have yourselves a good day.